So I feel it's safe to say the M4 Mac Mini has shocked the tech space in what you can get for such a small size and for $599. I guess you could really say size doesn't matter when it comes to the M4 Mac Mini.
That's what she said.
But the big question still lies, can you game on it? Not just the M4 Mac Mini, but can you game on Mac in general? So in this video, I've got a couple games that we're going to play. I'm going to go through the settings I've chosen each game, what kind of frame rates you get, and just see what the Mac Mini is capable of. But if it's your first time here, I'm Almir, aka MrHtech. Do subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. If you've been enjoying the Mac Mini content recently, and I've seen a lot of you are new subscribers, so welcome to the channel and thank you for subscribing. Like the video if you do like it, and share it with your friends and family who also might find this kind of stuff interesting. And if you've got any questions about not just the gaming but the Mac Mini in general, or any kind of tech stuff, leave them down in the comments box below and I'll be sure to answer anything I can. So let's check out the Mac Mini and see what it's capable of. So something I want to say before we actually get into the gaming is the M4 Mac Mini I have here is the base model. So that's 16 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. Now the performance that I'm going to show you in this video is all based on that base model. If you get a higher performance one or you get the M4 Mac Mini Pro, your results could vary and it could be higher than what I'm getting here. So just bear that in mind. All my tests are being run at 2560 by 1440. That's the resolution I've chosen because that's what the monitor is capable of. So if you're running it at 4K, you're probably going to get less performance. If you're running it at 1080p, you're probably going to get higher performance. But just like with any of the settings in these games, whether you change the settings up and down, it's going to differ with the frame rates you get. So the games I've chosen: Path of Exile, League of Legends, Diablo 4, Minecraft and Stumble Guys. And I know there's a ton of games out there. It's just not possible to try every single game. A lot of the games are not even possible to play natively, so you have to go through the crossover program, which at the minute is on a free trial, so you're welcome to try that out. But other than that, there's not much options out there for Mac gaming at the minute. So the first game up is Diablo 4, and being a long-time Diablo 3 player back in the days, what was meant to be just half hour to an hour's max of testing out Diablo 4 on the M4 Mac Mini turned into me playing it for about 3 to 4 hours. Now, that does tell you that the M4 Mac Mini is more than capable of playing Diablo 4 and playing it well. So the graphics I had in Diablo 4 were 2560 by 1440 resolution. I turned off vertical sync because I wanted to see how far the FPS will go. For resolution scaling, I set it to AMD FSR 1.0, which should help with FPS. And quality mode, I set it to balanced. Now, quality preset, I set it to low. And for frame rates in the game, generally I was getting anywhere between 55, 65 frames per second, which was more than playable. Obviously, if you're playing at 1080p, you're going to get more frames than that. If you're playing at 4K, you're going to get less. And obviously, you can mix around the graphics settings, turn some stuff off that you don't want, turn some stuff on that you do want, and that balances it out. But you can definitely get a very enjoyable experience playing Diablo 4 on the M4 Mac Mini. So the next game up is actually Path of Exile, and for this one the resolution was also 2560 by 1440. However, the graphics settings I set them too high and I seem to be getting between 45 and 55 FPS. I think if you were to set the graphics settings to low and even play at 1080p, you could get a much smoother experience on this, possibly getting into the 60s, 70s frames per second. Also a game that you can play very easily, although with these settings it did slow down a little bit when you would get bigger mobs, but lowering the settings you'll probably have a seamless experience. So those of you League of Legends fans out there will be pleased to know that with League of Legends I set the resolution as well to 2560 by 1440. However, when it comes to the graphics settings, I absolutely maxed it out on very high, and the max quality you can do on everything, and we was getting an easy 100 frames per second, sometimes 120, sometimes 115, but it's very playable on the M4 Mac Mini. Not that I didn't expect it to be able to play it, but the FPS has actually surprised me considering I've set everything to the max possible. So when it comes to Minecraft, first thing I did was go on FOV and I put it on Quake Pro because I would assume that uses more graphical memory. It did say that I have, or the system I'm using is unsupportive of the fabulous graphics mode, which I assume is the maxed out one. So I've had to go for the fancy one, which balances things out. I did try and maximize everything else, so full screen resolution, 2560 by 1440, biome blend to maximum, everything I could see that I could max out. I think I've maxed out on here, but again, I'm not used to these settings, so Let me know down below if there's something that can be changed for either more performance or better graphics, apart from putting it on fabulous mode. But even with all that, I was getting between like 80 to 150 depending on what you're doing, sometimes 200. Again, I'm not accustomed to Minecraft, so I don't know what the optimal FPS is for playing it normally. So let me know down below if you are a Minecraft player and what you would suggest is the optimal FPS for playing and having an enjoyable experience with this game. And the last game I chose was Stumble Guys. Now you might be finding it funny, but a lot of people out there might want to play this game, or they might want their kids to play this game. And then if you've got a Mac Mini, you'll know if you're able to. Not everyone's going to jump into Cyberpunk or these graphic intensive games. Some people just want to play these normal simple games. And for the settings on Stumble Guys, I did max everything out. So again, 2560 by 1440, all the qualities, anti-aliasing, the max it could be. And we was getting between 150 to 250 FPS, which is perfectly playable for this game. And the game is actually pretty fun, so I would recommend trying it out. It's something that you don't have to focus too much on, but it provides a fun experience when you are actually playing it. So you've seen the games, you've seen the frame rates, you've seen the performance that I've been running on these games that I showed you on screen. And the big question, can the Mac, or can you game on a Mac? The answer is yes, but it's not so simple. You have limitations there. And I think the majority of limitations now are on the software end in terms of developers making games for the Macs, because these Macs, with these new silicon chips, they have become extremely powerful and they do not use a lot of power, which is why they're so amazing. And especially with this M4 Mac Mini, with that low price tag, it just makes everything so much better. But the issue is with compatibility. Now, having to jump through hoops and go through different apps like Crossover in the hopes of being able to play the game you want to play is not really a good feeling. And I think in the future we may see more games being made natively for macOS as well as Windows, and that would be a great thing in my opinion, because let's face it, no one's really buying the Mac as their sole focus for just gaming. You're generally buying it if you're a content creator, or if you want to have one at home, which everybody in the home uses for general tasks, I guess. And the gaming is something we want to be able to do on the side, and they're more than capable of doing it just if the software side gets fixed. And whether or not that's through a third party like Crossover and that gets implemented a bit better, or whether the actual game development companies pull their finger out and start making games for Mac, because the machines are very capable. So can you game on a Mac? Yes, you can, but there are some limitations, but there is hope. And I'm going to leave you with that. So if you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe down below for more Mac Mini content and general tech content. Like the video if you did like it, share with your friends and family who might be interested. I will catch you on the next one. If you've got any comments, leave them down below and I'll read them and reply to you where I can. So have a great day.